Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host Brian, and today I'm talking Singles Inferno Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3. So this is a Netflix show. I did a review of last season. I don't remember if I did. I think I did weekly too. I think I might have only gotten 2 episodes in because I was a little behind when I guess I saw a little bit of tiny buzz about the show, and I was like, I'll just pick it up because everyone has Netflix. Why not check it out? I was again caught off guard that this came back. I have got a new Netflix account since then, so didn't see that a new season popped up on because all my whole list is like completely gone. So I just saw it while browsing for something else. Same premise, guys. I mean, I don't know if you check the show out. It's on Netflix. They're gonna do weekly bunch of drops. So the next batch comes out on the 19th. So I'm assuming that these episodes came out on the 12th, which was Tuesday. And I think next time I'll have them more on a timely matter, just because I watched all 3 of them today, and we're not gonna go crazy with these reviews because the Korean reality TV is a lot different than American and I would say European reality TV. It's definitely way toned down. Um, this is a dating show. We saw only a kiss on the cheek. There's minimal contact, and I mean even some of the commentation they have like a panel on the show. Even some of the panel's comments were saying that even though some of the women were being forward, and I was like, that would be like just nothing over in America. But hey, this is what we know. If you're a fan of the show, you know what it's all about. It's just different. And I'm not going to say I love the show, but I am a completionist. And now that a new season came out, I got to cover it. And that's the point of our page is reality TV. And somebody's got to do it. But so a couple changes. Last season we had I think it was a 4 panel host. This season we have I could be wrong here, could be completely wrong, and they just replaced somebody, but 5 panel host. But this time they have a contestant from last season. It was Jin Young, I think his name was. I think that's his last name. I didn't catch his first name because they do call each other by their last names, but probably I think that's their first name over there. But to us, when you're reading it, they say it last, so that to me it's the last name, but doesn't matter. Jin Young, he was on last season 2. I don't even remember what happened to him, and but I think it's good. I actually think the host for the panel was a little better this year. I thought they were a little more loose. Like, I thought some of their actual commentary was actually funny this time. I thought like last season it was kind of stale or stiff, and it just I think adding a past contestant also is like a good gauge to like they can talk about certain situations because they definitely changed. They definitely did a lot of changing stuff this year, and I think it actually might be better and might create a little more drama because I feel like it just there's not a ton of drama, to be honest with you. It's just kind of just to me, it's just like I'm watching a show. I don't have any stakes in the game. There's really I can't tell who likes who really pretty much less like I mean the dubbing probably doesn't help either. I'm sure the show's a lot better if you could uh speak and like understand Korean. I cannot, so I'm doing a dub with subtitles. And just like I've said in the past in a lot of shows we cover, especially like Love Never Lies and um there was another show. I think I watched another show that was. I watched Love Is Blind Japan too. The dubbing is just not great. There's no emotion behind any of the voices. I wonder if it's AI, to be honest with you. At this point, there's no emotion on any situation. It's just kind of like they read it monotone. You can't really get a gauge of like what the situation or like how they're actually feeling. But let's meet the people. So another change this season there, you find out in episode 2, which I thought was pretty surprising and I thought was a big move. There is 2 islands because when we started this season, there's only 6 contestants, and if I remember correctly, I thought there was like 10 last season, 10 or 12, and this season we have 11 so far. They will add a few people here and there, so 6 people on the first island, which is pretty much the entire episode to the end of them going to the hotel Paradise. Paradise is a hotel, and that when I thought it was actually a really good twist, like and because I didn't know where they were going to go with it. And there's another island that you can actually see, and that island had 5 contestants on it as well. So again, I'm going to try to say these names. I'm not butchering them on purpose, and also my handwriting is usually pretty terrible. For the women on the first island, we have Kim Gai-ru. I think they actually say Jiro, so Jiru. So Jiru, Choi Hoo Sun. She said she was a human vitamin, and If I have a little blurb for them, because I do think a lot of them are pretty, they don't give a lot away, especially because they can't say their job or their age until they're in the paradise suite with as a member of the opposite sex. So we don't know a ton about them. It's just kind of them like kind of gassing themselves up, and usually it's, hey, I'm really pretty, I have a nice smile, I have a good physique. So, and again, it just doesn't always translate well to Mary. I'm sure they're just saying like I have a nice body, but I don't know. Uh, An Min Young, she I don't have anything. I'm trying not to read notes that I have because I actually have notes next to the names that I don't want to give away yet. For the men, we have Min Woo. He said he loves older women, so I thought that was funny. Because another thing is, you don't know the age. So far the ages we know, the men are definitely a lot older than the women, but I'm sure there might be a sneaky one here or there as we've learned. I still don't know all the people's ages yet. Legion Suk, Legion Suk. Um, he said he has a wide chest because he does. He was in pretty in shape. Like he works out for a hobby. Uh, Lee Guam he he's pretty cocky. He likes like a lot of jokes, and apparently he's famous. And then we do find out that he's like a basketball player. And I did look up his stats, and they said he made an all-star team. I looked at his numbers as somebody who likes basketball and watches basketball a lot. His numbers were not jumping off the page for me, but maybe over there, that's somebody that's good. But that makes sense why a lot of NBA players, if they're on the fringe, they go overseas and they make a killing. I think like it is the Korean league, but I know like Stephon Marbury went over to Asia and he like destroyed the league because he was just so good. So just I think it's a different level or a different scale of skill set over there. They have the same kind of setup where they try to make it look like they're living like on a stranded island with like a boat that crashed or a plane that crashed. And the one thing I didn't see this season and I kind of liked from last season is they would have somebody on here who knew how to cook like really well, and they would just like give them raw vegetables and food, and they would just put something together really quickly, and it looked actually really good. So for the first time, they didn't know how to make anything, so they gave them like carrots and like, just cans of chicken, and they kept saying chicken breast, and they just ate like raw carrots for lunch. I thought it was funny. Didn't cook the carrots at all. Can't say that's probably that great tasting well, but some people said they liked it, but hey, whatever. All right, so then the one thing that last season is they kind of had like a day or two to get to know each other, and then they did like their little telegrams to like see who wants to go to paradise. They just get right when they just say get a message at lunch, it's time to decide who's going to paradise, and they have to sign their tickets with a name and then hand them to the person they want to go to. And there's if you match, then you go. If you don't match, you stay on the island. So the only matches that will actually go are Guan He and He Soon, and they match up. Um, no one. I'll read the last one that didn't go, but there's one that there's like I have it like there. It doesn't matter. Um, Jin Suk and Min Young they match as well. So the two that didn't get to go are Giru and Min Woo, and so it's funny that Giru picked Min Woo, but he ended up picking Min Young. And since Min Young chose Jinzuk, they get to go and then they're stuck on the island. But actually, them being by themselves, they did get to have a conversation and pretty much get to know each other because they're the only ones there. Like he had to like start a fire and they made it seem like he was he was like doing like this hard manual labor. He was like tired from making fire and stuff like that. It was actually kind of funny. Um, so we do find out a couple things because they do go to paradise. He soon is 26. She's a college student studying bio informatics, I think is what the word they use. So I'm not 100% sure what that is. She has an internship for a Silicon Valley startup company. So another thing, they don't really give away the companies here. They keep a lot of things tight to the vest and chest here. So we don't really learn. You may like find out what they do, but you don't know the company. You don't hear any of that stuff. Not even the university. I mean, I think they might have said her college. I did not write it down, but That's when we found out Guan he's 36. He's a professional basketball player. He's a shooting guard. And that's what I said. I looked him up. I haven't heard of him, and I just said that he wasn't impressing me. Min Young, she's 26. She's a Pilates instructor, and she also like kind of does some of the business stuff for the Pilates studio. Jin Suk is 31. He owns a couple cafes and like cafes slash bakeries, and I thought that was kind of cool. There's always that. That's why I wanted to like. I want him to step up and make some cool food because I actually do like seeing them put something together with like pretty much nothing. I think that's really cool. But he didn't. He didn't do anything, which I was super surprised by, maybe because they didn't have any bread. But I thought the foods. I wonder if they're just going to go to Paradise a lot more, and the food having like minimal things this season is gonna get people to like try to, hey, let's go try to get to know each other, and we'll go to Paradise tonight again. But I'm fine with that. I think that's good. It changes the game up because I did feel like a lot of the times, like when they're sitting around camp, it can get pretty boring because they don't give a lot away, and they're not allowed to give a lot away per the rules. Okay, so a thing. This is one of the things that probably was the furthest thing that I guess sexual wise that happened. The panel thought that Min Young was moving way too fast when they were in the pool, and she jumped on Jin Suk's back, like almost like piggyback, and they were like blown away, like whoa, what is she doing? And I'll try to find a picture of it. Can't always promise I'm gonna find pictures of this show. I always struggle to find some of the like screenshots, but I'll try to find my best of the piggyback. And I mean, they're not. It was a very nothing. It wasn't like a sexual one where she's like draped all over him. It was just like she was literally just a piggyback on it. She said it was like kind of like friends later in one of the episodes, but so I think they both had like a like not a bad date. I would say again, it's really hard to tell on the first day. But so they get a message the next morning, and he soon has to. She gets a message like, "Hey, you're gonna go back to Inferno, but you're not going to be going with Guan He." And they're surprised, and she walks down to the lobby, and she actually gets in the car with Park Min Kyu, and he gets in the car. He's like, "Hey, where are you coming from?" They kind of have like a Spider-Man moment where they're pointing like, "Hey, you came from Inferno. I came from Inferno. What Inferno are you talking about?" Find out there's two Infernos, totally different group of people, and I think this is a cool twist because I think they need to do something to spice up the show. I mean, it still needs a lot of spicing up in my opinion, but it's something they're trying. I wrote down here that the panel is just as confused as the contestants because there's a lot of time the contestants look like they have no idea what's going on, and it makes me laugh. So we find out that the island, like I said, is right next to the island that we were introduced to, and we actually go back in time to their day one, and we meet the people on their island. All right, so the men, we have San Wan Uk, uh, Yan Habin, and then Park Min Kun. And the women, there's only two women here, so I think they're gonna probably bring in a third woman. Probably, it looks like that's what we got a teaser for on the end of episode 3, but probably like mid episode 4, maybe end of episode 4, maybe beginning 5, we'll see somebody new come in. So we have Yan Ha Hoon. She calls herself a sly fox. I thought it was funny. And then Yo Seun. And yeah, and we find out that these two actually kind of know each other. I think that I don't think I don't see. I didn't really catch who was the sister. Like, so the way they know each other is one of them is friends with their sister or like an acquaintance, and I don't remember who was the sister or the friends with the sister, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But they know each other. So Pan was like, oh, I wonder if they're doing this to like spice it up, and they actually end up going for the same dude in the matchup or the Paradise matchup ceremony. And so I guess it doesn't even matter. And they kind of give it away when we find out that because we know as a viewer that because we saw him over in Paradise that it's Parkman Q. So they go together, and then we kind of fast forward to them coming back and them on the car ride coming home. And again, now that they're back in the car ride, they can't give any information about themselves. Like forget who it was that asked like, where do they live? And like, I can't tell you. So they must have like super strict rules on what they're allowed to talk about. So I think that's one of the reasons why when they're on the island, it kind of seems like blah and things like that because they're not like they have like restrictions on their like vocal cords and what they're allowed to talk about. Um, we find out that um we find out that Ha Hyung is 26. She works as like in the medical clothing field. I'm assuming she just like makes scrubs, like stuff like that. She also does some of the business stuff for I think that business and maybe some other materials or like supplies that they need. I'm not 100% sure, but they don't really dive into things. And then Park Min Hyung is 34 and he's a police officer and also a member of the Korean Coast Guard. So I thought that was kind of cool. They always do like these little like it reminds me a lot of when you're watching college football and they do like a an ad for the university and it shows all these people doing like these jobs and things like that and that's kind of how they introduce the each contestant in their field working but his was kind of cool. I'm interested to see like when he everyone knows and when they actually get to have some more deeper conversations like how that will play into and it might play into the challenge because he looks like he's pretty strong. He used to be like an ex-swimmer. I mean he's pretty in shape as well. Then they did the mailbox. So the next day they're coming back. So like I said, they're back. The next day they're doing the mailbox challenge for going back to paradise. So the helicopters are flying back and forth, taking people. It looks like daily because I think we only got to like day 2 or 3 out of 3 episodes. So the mailbox for Island One, only one of the girls is going, and I think that one of the things the panel said that um, Giru, Giri, I don't, I'm gonna butcher it, guys. I'm really sorry. Giri, she started to open up, wasn't kind of being more bubbly and talking to all the guys, and she matches up with Parkman Yo, and so he's going back, and all 3 of the dudes picked her there. I think that's gonna happen sometimes because I think that people are gonna get a little more friendly meeting everybody. On the other island, we have Sion. She goes with Wani, and then Hajing goes with Guan He. And we find this, so they go on their date, pretty standard. The thing about this one is Guan He and Hajung, they were in the car ride together, and they kind of gave off the impression that they weren't really into each other. But then, like after some weird flirting at during the day, and after they're on in the Paradise Hotel, they kind of seem to like each other. So the flirting is very odd to me. I have a hard time picking up like with their what's really going on in some of the conversations. So we find out Giru is 28. She's a model, and that's pretty. We already knew a lot about the other two because they were already on or in Paradise. So nothing crazy there. One of the things on the date that I'm gonna have to Google because I don't really they kept referring, and it wasn't just her. Like there's a puppy dog look and a dinosaur look for guys. So I don't know what that means. If anybody in the comments below knows, I guess I'll have to find out if I look like a puppy dog or I look like a dinosaur. Uh, I'm interested to know what that is. If that's like a thing over there when you're kind of explaining what somebody looks like or like facial structure or like jawline. I'm not 100% sure. I have here the other note is like the Hajing and Guan He are they have an overnight and it's just some of the weirdest flirting you'll ever see. Let me know what you guys think if anybody's watching this. Will it heat up? I know it looks like like I said, there's a new person coming in the next batch of episodes, and they'll start doing some of the physical challenges, which I think is for dates as well. But again, it's definitely a different speed than really the reality shows that we see over here and are currently covering, and in the UK and even Australia. I just think the way courtship and flirting works over there is just so different. So like when I'm watching these shows and they're blown away by stuff, the panel just does to me. It's just like it doesn't even. It's like I'm like this is nothing to me, but it's just different and everybody's different. That's why one of the reasons why I do stick with the show because I am interested to see like how when they're like, oh, I really am feeling falling for this person and they've done like nothing and they've barely hugged and stuff like that. So just interesting. We'll see if people are watching the videos and commenting. I'm still going to keep up, and maybe I'll just try to make them a little shorter. But usually the first episode's always long, and I will try as I'm watching these episodes. I'm hoping that I can hammer these names down. It is tough for me, and especially when I watched it this morning, and I haven't had a chance. I'm recording this at night. I just haven't had an opportunity, and my handwriting is awful. Anytime I say a name wrong or I'm pausing, my handwriting is some of the worst on the planet. So it is tough. But thanks for guys for watching. We'll have a House of Villains episode. The finale is actually next week, so that show's also wrapping up, and we will have Southern Charm. I think that show's on the brink of wrapping up, or not. It's on the brink of wrapping up. We still have. There'll probably be a double reunion, or maybe even a triple for what's going on in that show. But tons of other stuff. We have a bunch of things ending, but we will have a nice little lull. But then a lot of things coming up in the new year. So again, we have a little bit of time. Drop a comment below of a show that you maybe you're interested in that you want us to check out, or just any comment in general. We try to interact with everyone and that we can, and just get your feedback. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I will talk to you guys next week for the next batch episodes. See you.